Mic check. 1, 2. Mic check. 1, 2. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another daily live stream. Today is Tuesday, September 2nd, and my Apple Watch just went off, and now Siri's going off, and I'm sorry about that. Good morning, everyone from Toronto, Ontario. I am on vacation. I'm currently on day 5 of my vacation. I'm outside because it's actually really nice outside today, but also I get a lot better Wi-Fi here than other parts of the house. Plus, there are a lot of people in the house right now. About there is a lunch that is about to start, and so I don't want to be interrupting people. So I'm out here doing this live stream. It's actually really nice out today. The bees are kind of quite active this morning. So if you see me flinch, it's because I'm trying to avoid any bees. But before I begin, Miss Peaceful One, Astaria, Eric, Tired Chick, Aisha, Angela, Fran, Eric, Catherine, BMJ, Patty, hello, welcome. Thanks for making it today. Thanks for showing some accountability today. I apologize if you're hearing some extra noise. I believe today here is garbage day in Toronto, so garbage trucks are coming by, picking stuff up. Ray Questo, good morning. I see you as well. Before I begin, too, I saw this comment or this chat from Aisha. Aisha. Aisha's on day 37 of fasting, 37 days of fasting, 37 days in a row. Aisha says that she's down 2 pounds, being at 194. Congratulations, Aisha, on 37 days. But I want to point out here for anybody who might not be aware, Aisha, you're down 2 pounds because you were stalled for a couple of days, right? But maybe let people know how much you've lost overall if you'd like to. 37 days fasted. I don't want people to be like, you've only lost 2 pounds over 37 days. So just in case you want to share with other people. But hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome. Catherine, thanks for the kind words here. Jerome, your inspiration. I appreciate the kind words. I'm glad that I can be an inspiration, but I want to throw it back to all of you as well, right? I mean, look at Aisha, 37 days fasted. Look at other people showing up here in chat, right? Showing their support, showing their ups and downs. I mean, I want this to be a place where we're all inspirational for each other. We're all motivational for each other, right? So as I say that, as I'm doing this live stream, even while I'm on vacation, I do it because I'm showing my accountability. I'm doing it because I want to be transparent about what I'm doing and where I'm at and how I'm feeling. And I know that accountability helps me on my journey. Being accountable and being honest and not hiding things, not pretending I didn't eat XYZ, right? For me, that accountability is what keeps me going. For me, that accountability reminds me that I still have to do what I need to do. Yeah, I've lost an incredible amount of weight, and I've also been able to keep that weight off now for 667 days, right? But at the same time, I know that to get down to where I want to be at my goal weight, I got to keep pushing. The journey never ends. I want that to be an important piece for you while you're watching this. The journey doesn't end. So, whether or not you are doing crazy good right now or you are currently struggling, show up, be accountable, share the good and the bad. I say this day in and day out. It's really easy to say when you're doing good. It's really easy to share the good moments. It's another thing to share when you're struggling, when you're having a hard time. Those moments, those difficult times, even talking about Aisha being on a plateau, right? After fasting for this long, she knows that she just has to keep pushing, right? Regardless of what the scale says, even for me, doesn't matter what the scale says, it isn't going to change the trajectory of my journey. It isn't going to change me halting my good, healthy habits because that's really what it's about, right? What is the what does the scale matter if you are practicing good, healthy habits? The scale is going to say what it wants to say. There is only so much control you can put when it comes to that scale. And many of you know that scale is a bunch of garbage because you can be standing on that scale first thing in the morning. Sorry, coffee. Very important. You can be standing on that scale first thing in the morning. You end up going to the bathroom. Maybe a little later in the day, you're going for a walk on a hot day and you're sweating profusely. You know, a couple hours later, you're going to step on that scale and that scale is going to push itself down. You also know that if you drink half a gallon of water, you can easily manipulate that scale and step on it. I say these things because it's a reminder that that scale is going to do what it wants to do. But if you are practicing good, healthy, productive habits, that's what should matter. Your non scale victories are just as important. How do your clothes fit? How is your energy? What is your morning glucose like if you're someone like me who's a type 2 diabetic? What is your blood pressure like? Are your clothes fitting better? Do you feel well rested? A lot of these things are so important. So please, please keep that in mind. Today is Tuesday. Where is my, there we go. Today is Tuesday, September 2nd, 2025. Today is day 667 of my journey. 667 days of imperfect consistency. 667 days of good days and bad days. But I'm proud to say that in the last 667 days, the majority of those days have been good days. The majority of those days have been days where I have gotten my goals in, where I have achieved a lot of things that I would have never expected into this journey. But I've also had some bad days. I've also had some days where I struggled, where things didn't go the way I initially planned. I've had some days where I felt really shitty about myself, but that didn't change me trying to incorporate my good, healthy habits. Many of us live in this all or nothing situation where we are going for gold, giving it our all. In a lot of ways, maybe doing something really, really extreme. And I necessarily don't think there's anything wrong with pushing hard. I don't think there's anything wrong with giving it your all when you feel like it, if you can healthfully do so. I see nothing wrong with that. But if you are the type of person that goes hard and then decides that if you can't get to where you need to be, or you didn't fast for as long as you wanted to, or you didn't eat as well as you thought you would, you give everything up. You run away. You hide. You say, well, what's the point of doing anything else? And then you toss everything away and you do the nothing part of it. That is the part that's tough. That is the part that you should work on giving up. If you are living this all or nothing mindset, the nothing mindset part, it's not doing you any good. It's a bad habit that you're stuck in. It's a vicious cycle that you need to get yourself out of. And I get it because I've been there and I've been that person. I've literally been the walking definition of all or nothing, fasting for X amount of days, eating whatever I want. But it was something that worked for me back then. But sometimes my nothing moments, binges would turn into week long stints, would be a month long, would go for a year. You've all seen it when I initially lost the weight the first time around and I was gone for 2+ years. It was day after day after day of out of control behavior. That nothing part of you, you need to let it go. There is no there's no benefit in the nothing part. There really isn't. I can see a lot of benefit in the all part. You all have done it. You all know what it's like to push really hard. You know what it's like to sacrifice. You know what it's like to go a day without food. Some of you days without food. Some of you weeks without food, right? You know what it's like to do that. But you don't need to bring back the other side of it. What you need to do is find a middle ground. Okay, you didn't fast that long. Does it mean that you got to blow everything up? Does it mean that you got to start all over? Or does it mean that you now start incorporating other good, healthy habits into place? For example, let's say you decided to fast for 90 hours and you only made it 43 hours. First of all, 43 hours is a great fast. You've just put a whole day's worth of calories burnt, right? You've reset your body, you've reset your palate. Just because you didn't hit 90 hours doesn't mean that you're a failure. It doesn't mean that you should stop working out or doing the things that you had intended. I'm trying to help people get out of the all or nothing mentality, right? It is such a huge crux for many of us. Like, I guess I say it through personal experience where sometimes for me, right? It's getting windy. Sometimes for me, and there's a bee right there. Okay. For me, right? If I was planning for a 90-hour fast and let's say I got 43 hours fasted, I used to be that person that would be like, this isn't good enough. This isn't what I planned. And then the other part of my brain would be like, okay, time to eat everything now. Forget the walk, forget going to the gym, forget working on that project you had that was work related, forget texting anyone back that's tried to reach out to you. Instead, lay on the couch, turn on the TV, order DoorDash, spend all the money, and just do all this destructive, toxic behavior. That's the part that you got to let go of. That is how I used to be. And then it would cycle. And one bad day would turn into 2 bad days, would turn into a week of bad activity, bad behavior, right? And so on and so on and so on. I know many of us go through this because I talk to many of you that have that same kind of thinking. There is a very, this isn't good enough. I'm going to throw this away. This doesn't matter. I will continue to show these daily live streams to show you what imperfect consistency looks like. You hear me talk about it all the time. It doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be consistent. I have shown you now time and time again over the last 40 some days as I've been doing these live streams. Yeah, I have some good fasting days. And then there are some days where I eat a ton of calories. There are some days where I don't get my steps in, but nothing is stopping me from taking care of the other things that are important. I am not doing the nothing part anymore. Those moments will rear its ugly head. And yes, I had those moments prior to these last 41 days or so. But I am trying to make sure that the frequency of those moments happen less and less and less. So don't beat yourself up if you are saying, that's me, that's what I'm doing, I'm stuck here, I don't know how to get out of it. What you need to do is just practice getting out of that behavior. We are talking about getting yourself into good, healthy habits. If fasting for a long time is not something that you can do right now, work on making mindful choices when you eat. Now, I know what you're saying. Some of you might be watching this and you're saying, that isn't good enough, Jerome. I need to fast for that long. That's where you're getting it wrong because then you're having that all or nothing mentality. If you can't fast for 36 hours and you're like, but Jerome, I used to do it before. So what? Now it's time to work on the way you eat. Now it's time to work on the way you exercise. Now it's time to work on the way you sleep. These are the other levers of weight loss that are equally as important. Fasting is an incredible tool, but that's all it is. Fasting isn't the be all end all. It doesn't mean that if you don't fast for X amount of hours, nothing else matters. I have been doing these daily live streams because I eventually started to fall off and I was being unaccountable. Is unaccountable a word? It is, right? And I ended up mindlessly eating, emotionally eating, and I gained about 30 pounds in 5 weeks. I gained 30 pounds in 5 weeks about a month ago because I felt very overwhelmed. Old habits came back into play. If you're new here, and I feel like many of you are regulars now, which is great, but I am moving. I'm moving out of Chicago. I'm moving out of the country. If you've watched my live stream a couple days ago, I recently moved out of my apartment. And then the day after I moved out of my apartment, I took a vacation out here to Toronto. And I'm out here for about a week. And I will then be moving out of the country a little later this year. So I'm in between a lot of things right now. And when I felt really overwhelmed initially about all the things that I had to do, instead of taking care of my business, instead of taking care of, okay, you got to sell this stuff, you got to figure out where you're going to be living, you got to figure out where you're going to be living in the interim, you got to figure out how to make sure that you have all your paperwork for your dual citizenship, you got to figure out how you're going to pay rent in a new country. And instead of taking care of all of these things, I came back to what I do most, what I've done for decades, which is eat and forget, eat and forget, eat and avoid, eat and pretend that we can worry about it tomorrow, right? That kind of behavior is something I have been doing for decades, decades upon decades, where for me back in the day, it was easy to just eat and forget. But the damage that it took, because let's talk about that damage, right? Eating and forgetting, eating and avoiding, that kind of damage affected me with my health. Weighing at 235 pounds at 5'3", I was morbidly obese. It affected my health in terms of becoming a type 2 diabetic, having high blood pressure, uncontrollable high blood pressure. There were times I would go to the doctor when sometimes I had no choice because I felt awful, and they would check my blood pressure. My blood pressure would be through the roof, and they would hook me up to an EKG and make sure that I wasn't about to have a heart attack. My testosterone was awful. I felt awful. And it was that eat and forget behavior that got me to that place. But it's so much more than just my physical health, right? You've heard me say this before. Financially, that eat and forget behavior, financially, it was like, okay, you know what? I don't care about my health right now. I don't want to care about my finances either. Let's just DoorDash my way out of this. Let's just Uber Eats my way out of this. There's a bee now on my screen. Let's just, I'm trying to be serious here. And this bees. Let's just Grubhub my way out of this, right? And I would spend $100, $150, $200 ordering it 2, 3 times a day like it was nothing. Didn't care if I was gonna max out my credit card. I didn't care what it was gonna put on my interest because I wouldn't be able to pay it all off. So now I'm destroying my physical health. Now I'm destroying my financial health. But let's add on more to it, right? Let's talk more about this eat and forget behavior, this all or nothing behavior. That kind of behavior then would also start reflecting in my work. I had work to do, I had projects to finish, I had videos or photos to edit. This bee is just all over my MacBook right now. I'm just, I mean, it's multiple bees. I would avoid emails, I would avoid finishing projects. I've been let go from clients for not doing my work. So it affects my health, it affects my finances, it affects my job, my well-being, right? My independence in what I do. But let's go another step further. You've all, for those who have been with me for a while, you know my story, right? When I was gone for 2 plus years, I stopped answering text messages. I felt embarrassed. I felt guilty. I felt ashamed. I didn't want anyone to see me. I locked myself in my apartment. I didn't text people back. My mom had to end up calling the police on me to do a well being check. I avoided everyone and everything. I've lost friendships. I've lost relationships over this shit. That's why when people comment on when they see me eat 5, 6, 7,000 calories and they're like, "You're binging. That's binging. That's right." It's like you don't really know what a real binge looks like because when I talk to you all about all these things that affected me, how it impacted me financially, health wise, my work, my personal relationships, that kind of behavior, right, is what I call real destructive toxic behavior. So when I talk about giving up the all or nothing, this is what I mean. This is the part that you need to give up. Maybe some of you aren't that extreme like me in that way. Maybe some of you don't act in that type of way, but maybe you still show glimpses of it. Maybe you still perform similar habits like that. And all I'm saying is if you're that person that just says, I'm going to start over tomorrow, I'm going to wait until Monday, I'm going to wait until after my birthday passes by, I'm going to wait until after the holidays, until after the new year. Why would you do that when you are living in the way I see it is we're only here for a finite amount of time. Why would you waste the time that you're here by waiting for tomorrow? When you know that your health and wellness should be number one, should be your number one priority in your life. Is there a question here? I thought I might have seen a question. Hi, everyone. It's nice to see all others in here. Oh, King Mazia asks, where are you moving to? I'm moving to the Philippines. Um, yes, Josh, I agree. Bees, I'm okay with. Wasps, different story. Um, so what have I been doing since then, right? When I talk about how, and right, so when I talk about how I gained 30 pounds about a month ago, a lot of those old habits were starting to come back. And I knew it because I know what it's like. I felt overwhelmed. I felt anxious. I felt like I had so much shit that I couldn't take care of. And for me, for me, right, I started to resort to food again to forget. And I'm just very, very thankful that it was like a short period of time that it happened and I recognized it and I said, I can't let this continue. Right. And I really pushed myself back to get where I need to be. Um, and I've done that through fasting, right? Fasting has been my saving grace in a lot of this. I just need to correct Dan here real quick. Dan, what's going on? Dan says, congrats, you're moving back home. First of all, home is Chicago. Home will always be Chicago, Dan. Born and raised in Chicago. But yes, you're right. The Philippines is still, it's like my roots, my heritage in the Philippines for sure. I have put myself back into a fasting regimen. And let's talk about imperfect consistency, right? I talk about imperfect consistency and the importance of stacking up your wins, having good days, but also realizing that life is going to happen. I'm looking at the Lexi, it's nice to see you. It's been a minute. I haven't seen you in a minute. It's so nice to see some other people here that I haven't seen in a while. So getting back into fasting, right? After I gained the 30 pounds, I said, let's just put myself back into a routine of ADF. ADF, if you're not aware of what ADF is, it's alternate day fasting, meaning that I eat one day, I fast the next. I eat one day, I fast the next. I eat one day, I fast the next. Alternate day fasting is really for me, I really like the rhythm of alternate day fasting because on my fasting days, I take an easier approach when it comes to working out. And on my eating days, I make sure that I use those days to put the calories to use by working out, by getting my steps in, right? I'm a really big avid fan of lifting weights and gaining muscle and retaining muscle. So lifting weights every other day is a really great tool for me. But to get back into how I dropped the 30 pounds that I gained, in the first 18 days of my journey, I did 9 rounds of ADF, eating about 2,700 calories, and I lost 21 pounds in the first 18 days. And then right after that, I had a quote unquote 20% day. I'll talk about that later if you're unfamiliar with what a 20% day is. I ate 7,500 calories. I gained 7 pounds. And then I did a 93-hour fast to counteract that. I lost more weight even after eating 7,500 calories on the 93-hour fast. Lost 24 pounds in 3 weeks. Lost the majority of the weight already in 3 weeks. And then put myself right back into alternate day fast. But look at my calories. The calories higher, 3,400 calories. Wasn't the best. I wanted to keep it under 3,000, but it didn't stop me. I still kept doing what I needed to do. And then I had another 20% day where I ate 4,800 calories, gained 5.6 pounds, put myself into a 60. Sorry, it's the wind is blowing everyone. There's like a tablecloth here. I did a 67-hour fast after that, lost 26 pounds in 32 days, did a 66-hour fast after that, lost 28 pounds in 5 weeks. had another 6,300 calorie day, gained 11 pounds after eating 6,300 calories. And then I did a 60-hour fast, and then I lost more weight after that, losing 29 of those pounds in 39 days. And since then, I've been on vacation. For the last 5 days, I've been on vacation. But let's talk about this really quick. On the days where I will eat 4,800 calories, 6,300 calories, right? Look at when I gained 11 pounds. I ate 6,300 calories. I gained 11 pounds. If you're here every day, you know what I'm going to say next. Did I gain 11 pounds of fat? No, of course not. That's ridiculous. If I were to gain 11 pounds of fat, I would have had to eat 38,500 calories, and actually more than that because my body burns about 2,300 calories a day anyway. So I'd have to eat in excess of 40,000 calories. And I didn't because I ate 6,300 calories. It's 11 pounds gained of a little fat, some water, some waste. And then after I did my 60-hour fast, I lost 12 point whatever pounds. Did I lose 12 pounds of fat? Of course not, right? It's a mixture of water and food and waste. So many of us worry about the scale, and so many of us look at the scale and it demoralizes us and it causes us to do things that we shouldn't do. If it causes you to perform bad, unhealthy habits, it's time to rethink what the scale, if it's really beneficial for you to weigh the way you're doing right now. I weigh every single day because it doesn't affect me in that way. Yes, of course. When I gained 11 pounds after eating 6,300 calories, I was like, what? I stepped on it twice and I'm like, well, okay, I guess that's what it shows, right? But sure enough, a 60-hour fast later, I dropped 12 point whatever pounds. I lose more weight on the scale than when I initially had 6,300 calories. I don't let the scale affect me in that way. I look at the scale as a guiding light. And I'm like, okay, the trend is moving itself down. I'm good. If it pushes up every now and then, hey, that's just what it's going to do. It's a scale. There's not much that you can do when it comes to controlling that. Tara, hi Tara. Tara asks, how do you mentally get back on track after experiencing a setback? It can be really challenging to find the right mindset when you're feeling down. So, Tara, this is a great question, and I mean, I don't know if you've been watching me regularly. I can't remember if we've talked before, but today's a perfect example, and I'm about to share that today because I'm currently on vacation. Many people who are on here or who have had vacation or had a long weekend. I mean, how many of you right now had a long Labor Day weekend and you were like, oh man, I really overdid it. And now I'm going to have a really hard time getting back on track. But how do you mentally get back on track after experiencing a setback? So, first of all, when it comes to a setback, right? Is it a setback because you're upset about what the scale says, or is it a setback because you know you overate and you overdid it? Because the best answer I can give to you is think about your good healthy habits. All you have to do is start incorporating your good healthy habits back. I know another really important part of this is accountability. If talking to me is helpful for you, come back tomorrow, come back the next day, share in the comments, share your accountability. I know it might sound corny or cheesy, but for a lot of us, me especially, I do these daily live streams because the accountability is paramount. I have said this before. If social media ceased to exist right now, if YouTube was gone forever and Instagram and TikTok, and I had no one to be accountable to or for, I don't know if I'd be able to keep this weight off. Maybe, hopefully, because I've continued to perform good, healthy habits, but I'm going to take advantage of this platform and throw my accountability out there if I can, right? So for you, Tara, I mean, and for anybody who's watching this, if you're experiencing a setback, All I'm going to say right now is get your good, healthy habits in check. Be accountable. Practice imperfect consistency, right? Your fasting doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be consistent. Your eating, mindful choices, doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be consistent. Your exercise doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be consistent. I say this in the hopes that you will find the motivation that you need, that you will mentally get yourself back into track or mentally get yourself back on track. I also wonder if getting back on track means that you are thinking in a very all or nothing type of way, saying, okay, getting back on track means now I have to fast for this long and I have to eat perfect and I have to exercise perfect and I have to do XYZ perfect. When in fact, when you experienced your setback, right? Were you still performing good, healthy habits then? Maybe your eating wasn't the best, but were you still hitting a timer? Were you still being mindful about how you were eating? Yeah, maybe you had a couple of drinks, maybe you overate, but were you still trying to make good choices here and there? And I'm going to talk about this today because this happened to me yesterday. Um, Tara, thanks for the question. Maggie May, thanks for the kind comments. Okay, Guy fam, I see you there. Thank you for that as well. My mom is texting me. Give me a second. Oh, okay. Okay. I'm good for now. I'm good for now. So, um, I lost 30 pounds in about the same time I gained that weight. And the thing about other people might watch this and they might say to themselves, man, Jerome's just gaining the weight and then losing it and gaining it and losing it. And this cycle is ridiculous. And right, people might see that and that's what they might initially think, but they don't understand that this is a journey every single day. This is me. I'm living through this every single day. I'm showing things that I'm sure a lot of people don't want to show or share. For the last 41 days, I've literally shown you all what I've been eating and how I've been eating and if I've gone overboard. And I'm showing that I can do it without shame or guilt or embarrassment because I, for one, have been that person where I would hide the food, right? That avoiding behavior. And I don't want to do that anymore. I'm in this place now where it's like I'm not ashamed. I'm not I'm not going to have someone guilt me into eating 6,000 calories or guilt me for eating that much. I eat that much. Sucks that you can't eat that way. Or maybe it's great that you can because you wouldn't gain weight the way I do. But right, I'm my own person. You're your own person. That's why everyone's journey is going to be different. We're all here for the same thing, to be healthy and happy. And I'm just trying to show you how I'm getting to that point and trying to teach you along the way that, hey, it's okay. Imperfection is okay. We all have our own shit to deal with and we will figure it out. So, overall, started at almost 170 pounds on 723. And what is that? 4 days ago, 5 days ago, I was 140.4 pounds, losing almost 30 pounds in about 5 weeks. Why did I laugh at that? How's that salad, Dan? Good? Good? My family's eating lunch right now and they're probably wondering when I'm going to be done, but I still have a bunch to get through. So, okay, like I said, I'm on vacation. Yesterday was day 4 of my vacation. And yesterday I ate. So let's share with you all what I ate, right? Um, if I can get this clip. Oh, that's the wrong clip. Oh, where's my refeed video? Okay, give me 1 second. I will add this on. Oh my god, that is the wrong. That's the outro, everyone. We're not ready for the outro yet. Let me Let me show you what I ate because yesterday was an eating day on vacation, and you're going to see how I imperfectly eat on vacation because I don't have complete control of everything I'm eating, right? And on days like this, maybe they're helpful for you to be like, okay, like I see what Jerome's trying to do here, and maybe it might help me in that way. So, and okay, that's still the wrong. Here we go. And let's go back and let me throw myself right here. That's not the right one. That's the right one. Okay. So yesterday we went to Niagara. We went to go see Niagara Falls yesterday, a very touristy thing to do, but I have never seen it before. So yesterday, my family took my mom and I out to Niagara, and we were at Niagara on the lake, and we were at some like cutesy town that had a bunch of shops and everything, right? And we just stopped at this one breakfast diner type place. And here's the thing about imperfect consistency, right? Um, I'm on vacation. I could have eaten anything I wanted. I'll tell you this, old Jerome would have looked at that menu and got either a meat lover's omelet or a meat lover's skillet and probably some biscuits and gravy and probably some kind of dessert after. And I can still do that if I want. I can still do that if I want. But yesterday I told myself, okay, can we do something a little different here? Do I have to get a meat lover's whatever? And I said that because I know that I was probably going to be eating lunch as well. Maybe I was going to be eating dinner as well, right? So here is me trying to make a different decision. I ended up getting this salmon avocado toast. I love lox. I love salmon. I love avocado toast, even though people make fun of it. It's fucking good. I'm not going to deny it, right? But this was salmon, avocado, capers. I took the onions out because I'm not the biggest fan of raw onions like this. It came with a fruit bowl, right? And it came with two eggs, any style that I wanted it. So I had it over easy. A lot of the other meals was poutine. It came with potatoes and smothered with gravy or cheese, right? I love that shit. I do. I'm not gonna lie. I would have gotten pancakes. I would have gotten right. That's just how I normally do it, but I didn't. I decided to make a different decision. So here's me eating this. And the thing about the avocado toast, it was just one piece of bread, so it wasn't two pieces. Kind of cut back a little bit there too. I didn't show myself eating the fruit. I didn't show myself eating the eggs. I just was giving you an idea of what this looks like. And you'll see here, right? Afterwards, right? My aunt really wanted me to get ice cream. I guess there's a place here called Cows that is really good. And I mean, we went to this place called Cows and the line was out the door for ice cream. I could have gone without it, but my aunt really wanted me to try it and everyone else was getting it. So I said, sure, I'll partake. Here is another part of me trying, right? I usually love to eat ice cream on a waffle cone. I'll usually eat ice cream on a waffle cone. That is like one of my favorite things to do. I love waffle cones. I'll eat the shit out of a waffle cone. But I said, okay, let me get this is a peanut butter cup ice cream. I got two scoops. I guess I could have got one scoop, but I'm like an extra scoop was like an extra dollar or $1.50 or maybe $2. So I'm like, I'll just get the extra scoop. Budget wise, it was more a budget thing than anything else. So I got two scoops of this. I'm just taking this. We took it to the car because we had places to go. Here's me eating this peanut butter. I mean, it was very good. Don't get me wrong, it was delicious. Um, but I know I could have done without it. So had that, and I'm just okay. So even before I get to that next scene here, right? Um, I went to see Niagara Falls. My family actually just dropped me off because they already seen it. My mom's already seen it. My mom comes up to Toronto more than I do. I've never seen it before. So I went to go see Niagara Falls while my family went to the casino. Um, and right, like, here's the thing about how I usually work when I break my fast. When I break my fast, I usually will eat, 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 eat. I will not think about anything else. And I said this on my last live stream or 2 days ago, where I started to think about, or maybe I said it yesterday, whichever day. Sometimes what happens is when I break my fast, the only thing I can think about is food. And I forget why I am breaking. I'm here with family right now. I'm here with loved ones right now. It's not always about the food. And sometimes my brain goes into that mode where it's like eat, 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 food, 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 food. Instead of I'm here to be with family I haven't seen in a minute. I'm here to spend time with family and enjoy time together, right? I want you to think about this kind of thing as well, especially if you have loved ones that you're spending time with, you have kids, you have a partner, right? A spouse. Are you there for food or are you there to have a memorable moment with someone that you care and love about or that you care about and love, right? And so that kind of thinking has helped me a little bit. Not always, right? But here's the thing, after I ate that ice cream, of course, then I was like, "Oh man, like now I can eat this, now I can eat that, now I can eat this, now I can eat that." But I told myself, control, right? Like, Jerome, you don't have to eat until you're completely stuffed. And so again, I'm putting something different into practice. Is it going to be perfect? Probably not. But I'm trying to put something into practice. Don't feel guilty about eating ice cream. Don't feel guilty about eating avocado toast with berries and 2 eggs, right? Don't feel guilty about this kind of stuff. Just live your life. Enjoy the time you're with family. So after they dropped me off at Niagara Falls, I walked to Niagara Falls and it was lovely. Actually, I've never seen anything like that before. And I was amazed at how lovely it was. So I'm just going to share this with you. I know it's not about fasting, but I'm like, I've literally been sharing little pieces of my life here and there on these dailies lately. So let's go ahead and share that. This is just the Niagara Falls when I got there. This is part of the view that I saw. But right as I turned, like this was amazing to me. Like I have never seen anything like this before. It was magnificent. Like I thought it was lovely. And then you see that boat there? Oh no, I didn't. That's the wrong clip. I have a different clip where I zoom in and then you see everyone. You see everyone on the boat. Um, that's the wrong clip. Maybe I'll show it tomorrow. But it was beautiful. It was beautiful. And I look at that and I'm like, yeah, like I'm here for many other reasons than just food. My aunt and my uncle, they took me to Niagara by the lake and you could see a skyline of Toronto. You could see New York on the other side. That was cool, right? Um, yes, Patty, the Maid of the Mist. And I had a different clip where I guess I picked the wrong one. Do I have it? Let me see. I do. Let me see if I can share this, and then I'll show that part with the boat. Because I took a bunch of different versions. I was posting something on my personal Instagram. I don't know how many of you have access to my personal Instagram, but maybe you saw it, maybe you didn't. Um, but like I said, right? Dan, an iPhone, yes. We're not going to go there. I am. We don't. Dan knows me from my previous channel. If many of you don't know this, I used to have a previous channel where um, it was different back then. It was pretty successful for what it was back then. But anyway, um, okay, I have the other clip here, so let me just share this really quick, and I'm just gonna fast forward to this part here. Oh, right, as I'm coming in, you see me zoom in here, right? Look at everyone just hanging there. I just thought it was really cool. Anyway, maybe I'll get on that boat next time. But I guess I show that also just to share that life is more than just about food all day, every day. I reminded myself I'm on vacation. Yeah, I'm here to eat. And I'm not saying that like you shouldn't enjoy food. You shouldn't be happy when I mean, right? Like I get that way. I get it. I've been there. But I'm starting to tell myself there's more to life than just eating all day every day, right? There's more to life than just that. It's not just it's a different perspective for me. It's a different practice that I'm putting into use. So that's kind of how I saw it. Now, here's the thing, right? Um, because I was showing you what I was eating. After Niagara, I walked to the casino and I don't gamble, but I wanted to make sure my family had a good time. And I had to wait for, I think, about 4 hours while they were gambling. So here's the thing, I was starting to get hungry and I didn't know if I should have eaten. And I was trying to find good choices. And then there was like a small mini mart, and they actually had a protein bar. Let me just go back here. There you go. That's the ice cream. I just ended up getting this protein bar to see if it would have helped my hunger, and actually it did. It kind of curbed it for a little bit, and it was helpful. And so after I ate that, I waited, I don't know, another 2 hours or so, and we went to get dinner. And I suggested if we could go get like Mediterranean food because I was thinking I need protein. I really wanted protein. I wanted whatever veggies I could find and rice, right? So we did. We ended up going to this Mediterranean place after I show this clip here. And I started off with a Caesar salad. So it was great. I was so happy to eat because I was so hungry. And literally, I don't know how many hours had passed by, right? But as this bee's in my face, um, give me 1 second, everyone, because this bee is okay. Um, we went to this Mediterranean place. I ended up getting it was like a chicken skewer. It was called the Greek plate. And I got a chicken skewer, a beef skewer, a pork skewer, gyros, and rice. And I also had a pita. So I ate all of that, and you'll see this plate full of meat and rice here. You'll see me eating these skewers. They were delicious. They were cooked really well. You'll see me agreeing and saying, "Oh, this is really good." Um, the beef skewer. Oh, Dan, I just saw the super chat. All right, Dan, give me 1 second here. Let me just show this part here of me eating this meal. Now, when I ate, and I don't know if I showed anything after that. I didn't, because after that, so I had the rice, I had some pita, and there were like a skewer of grilled vegetables. The rice was really oily, so I think, and there was tzatziki sauce. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, but it was a pretty big plate. And I even ended up eating an extra chicken skewer from my mom because my mom couldn't eat it. And like she got something different, but she couldn't eat all her food. So I had a ton of protein. The calories were up there. I again, right? Like I'm roughly estimating, so I'm not too hard on myself on what that number is, But we'll get into the calorie count in a bit. Dan with a $5 super chat. Dan, thank you so much for the support. I appreciate you. Thank you. Dan with a $5 super chat says, when I was a kid, I used to eat every other day, and mom used to force us to eat every day. Oh, wow. Well, we weren't hungry at all, but now I'm grown. I mean, here's the thing. And I know I've shared this. I know I've shared this before. But right, I've been. I'm just going to share this as Dan says that. Um, that's not what I wanted to add. Oops. There we go. That's what I want to share. You used to eat every other day. I used to eat every day, Dan. but but I get it. I get it. I mean, I think a lot of this as well, right? Is a lot of us eat. Sometimes we have to think about the reasons we eat. Are we eating because we're truly hungry, or are we eating because we are bored? Are we eating because we're feeling emotional? Are we eating because we're stressed out? Are we eating because we're trying to ignore or forget something, right? Um, and maybe it's none of those things, right? Maybe you are eating because you're truly hungry. But I bring these things up because, as silly as some of these things might sound to some people, this is sometimes a good practice for us, right? To think about, are we eating because we are bored, sad, upset, depressed, frustrated? And instead of eating, can we do something else that can counteract that feeling, right? And maybe yes, maybe no. But maybe even just putting something like that into practice can help you on your journey. Dan, thank you for the $5 super chat. I appreciate you. Appreciate you, Dan. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. So let me get back into my slides here because, oh, actually, not even my slides, but more so my, let me get into this right. Okay. Let me get back into my refeed, right? So I ate that breakfast meal, avocado toast, salmon, fruit, 2 eggs, had a protein bar, waited a couple hours for my family to stop gambling at the casino. Then we went for Mediterranean food, and I had all that meat, all that rice, the gyro. And then when we got back to the house, um, I ended up having fruit. As you can see me almost drop it out of my mouth as I try to share the fruit that I ate. Um, and that's such an awful shot. That's paused. So I had 2 big bowls of cantaloupe. And one of the reasons I wanted cantaloupe is because I had such a sweet tooth after. One of the things that I've been trying to do when I have a sweet tooth is have a ton of fruit. So I had 2 big bowls of cantaloupe, and then I am eating. This is a Filipino dessert called kuchinta, and so I was eating kuchinta here. Listen, guys, I had 5 of these. I don't even know how many calories, but I put the calories up high when it came to that. Now, the one thing I did not film myself eating here was I tried to stop after that. I think I was around, I believe I was around 3,700 calories after that. And because it's so hard for me at my family here, they have snacks everywhere. They have chips everywhere. They have like packaged goods everywhere. And I ended up grabbing a bag of tortilla chips, and I finished that bag, just finished it. I didn't even film myself, right? And I didn't film myself because, again, right? That's me being like, I don't want to film myself. You know what? It's going to be fine. I'm just going to have like 3 chips. But see, I ended up eating the whole bag. And, well, not the whole bag. It was like maybe a quarter left in the bag, but I marked it down as around 500 calories, right? So yesterday, do I have that? Where's my sheet here? Now I got to pull up my sheet, everyone, because I got to give you the total calorie count because it's important to be transparent. right? So you saw everything I ate. Just pretend I ate a bunch of tortilla chips because I couldn't help myself. The calorie count yesterday was 4,375 calories and 190 grams of protein. Oh my God, did I lose my window for my live stream? Oh, here it is. Here we go. So, yeah, I ended up eating 4,300 calories. Um, and I felt like I was doing so well earlier when I just ate the protein bar and I didn't eat, a candy bar instead, and I waited a couple hours. But this is what I'm talking about when I talk about imperfect consistency, right? Yesterday could have been a lot different. Yesterday, I could have eaten a bunch of different food for breakfast. This bee needs to get off my coffee cup. Um, I could have eaten ice cream with the waffle cone. I could have snacked in between while I was waiting for hours, right? But I just had a protein bar. Dinner could have gone completely overboard, but right, I'm not beating myself up. This morning when I woke up, I used the calories to my advantage. I went for a long walk. I went to the gym. I lifted heavy. I walked back and I'm doing this live stream. I'm being accountable. I'm sharing my honest, transparent thoughts, showed you what I ate, trying not to hide from it, although I didn't show myself eating chips. So, right? Sometimes those habits still find themselves. So, even that 4,300 calorie count is on the higher mark. Now, I don't know if it was exactly 4,375. That's just a rough number, right? Josh says here, I know all about the lure of tortilla chips. I know. As I was eating it, so I was eating it last night. My uncle was hanging out with me, and he's like, "There's salsa. Go get some." I'm like, "No, I'm fine. I'm only gonna eat a couple," and then I ate the whole bag. But right, like, uh, I still did the best that I could for that day. I look at what I did as practicing imperfect consistency. So let's just get into some nerd stats here. As I add that refeed into my list of stats, my refeed stats now for the last, since July 23rd, my refeed time's around 4 hours and 46 minutes. My average calories per refeed 3,600. My average protein per refeed 199. Obviously, the calories are higher than I would like it to be. I would like to push that number down, but I'll get there. I'm not too worried about that. My last 9 refeeds, right? From August 9th through September 1st, you'll see some days under 3,000, some days over 3,000, some days highlighted in yellow, 4,000, 5,000, 6,000, right? And then you'll see the last 2 slides here, 8:30 and 9:1. I've been eating on vacation. Yesterday, I counted yesterday as a 20% day because even though I was trying to keep it in check, I ended up going over 4,000. And for me, I told myself, if you're going over 4,000, mark it off as a 20% day because you're now you're pushing that number more than you're able to control. And I'm okay with that. I'm all right with that, right? So to show you then what the weight looks like, if you look at the highlighted parts in red, yes, when I refeed, I'll gain 5 pounds, 6 pounds, 7 pounds. If you look at the very last highlighted in red, I gained 4.8 pounds yesterday after you just saw everything I ate. Did I beat myself up when I stepped on the scale? No. What did I do instead? I saw the number on the scale. I said, okay, the weight's up. Of course it's up because look at the rest of these highlighted in red 5 pounds, 6 pounds, 7 pounds, 11 pounds. But I know what happens after that. If you look at what's highlighted in green, I'll lose 4 pounds, 5 pounds, 6 pounds, 8 pounds, 12.8 pounds, right? This bee is literally, um, I didn't gain 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pounds of fat. I didn't lose 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pounds of fat either. A lot of that is water weight pushing itself around. Am I worried about what I weighed in this morning, putting on 4.8 pounds? No, I didn't. I know that that weight will push itself down. I know that I'm on vacation. The fact that I've actually fasted now 2 days on vacation is wild to me. It's probably the last time I'm going to be fasting though. Just FYI, everyone. Obviously, it's more than just fasting. As I've been trying to show people day in and day out, I am trying to make more mindful choices on how I eat. I'm also putting things into consideration, like my step count, strength training. My average step count in the last 41 days is over 16,000 steps. Yesterday's step count was almost 21,000 steps because I also, not only did I go to the gym and walk, but I also went to Niagara Falls and I did a lot of walking there too, right? Strength training, I usually strength train the following morning after a refeed. That's what I did this morning, right? Got got up, walked to the gym, lifted heavy. And I practice something called the 80-20 rule. And the 80-20 rule is where 80% of the time I am trying to keep my calories in check. If you see here, 80% of the time, my average calories right now are right around 3,000, around 200 grams of protein. And then my 20% days are the days where I eat whatever I want. I'm not as mindful, right? I'm not too worried about if I have a drink or if I eat a dessert because these days are only 20% of the time. But if you see here in the last 41 days, I've only done that 4 days over the last 41 days. So it's not even a real 80-20 split right now. Currently, it's a 90-10 split. Hopefully today, I'm going to keep my calories under 3,000. That's the plan for today because I'm going to be eating back-to-back days today. I'm also going out today, today and probably tonight. Right now, my family is eating lunch, right? And I'll probably going to partake in some of that. So my goal is to keep today as an 80% day. If it doesn't, then it doesn't. And you'll hear about it tomorrow. But that's my goal. Because honestly, after eating everything that I ate yesterday, I'm not really that hungry. I probably don't need to eat lunch right now. I could probably fast through it, but we'll see. And I'll share that with you, right? I'm trying to listen to my hunger cues. Like, yes, I know I'm on vacation. Yes, I know I can eat whatever I want. Yes, I keep that in my head. I tell myself that because I don't want to restrict. I don't want to say you can only do this and this is the only thing that matters and nothing else matters in life, right? Instead, I'm just like, okay, here are your options. Use your options. Really feel it out if you want to eat. If you want to eat right now, if you can push until later, you get to eat later. You get to eat tomorrow. Can you push it out, right? That's what I'm trying to tell myself. Let's look at these vacation stats really quick because to me, this is something that I have never done before. On the 29th, when I flew out to Toronto, I fasted. This was an easier fasting day for me because I was arriving to Toronto later in the evening and I was like, I'll be fine. I don't have to eat. And then the next day, I ate 3,600 calories, tried to be mindful. And then, what is that, 2 days ago? 2 days ago, I fasted again. Now, that is what I'm more impressed about. 2 days ago, I fasted again because, and I said this yesterday, I'm not on a tropical island. I'm not at a place where it's just mind blowing food that I've never had before. So I told myself, I'm just going to fast, right? Because I also knew that yesterday I was going to be going out to eat. I was going to Niagara. I was going to be with family, right? And enjoying myself. So I ended up eating almost 4,400 calories yesterday. But look at that, right? My calorie average right now on vacation is 2,000 calories a day because I've been fasting the other 2 days. So I'm actually eating at a calorie. I'm actually eating at a caloric deficit right now. Now, that number isn't going to last because I will most likely eat today. I will most likely eat tomorrow. And I know on Thursday, when I get back to Chicago, I will be having a 20% day where I will be eating whatever I want, right? So that number will push itself up. But this is what I'm talking about. Every single day, I am trying to put my tools into practice. Every day isn't going to be perfect, but I'm doing the best that I can for myself so that I don't feel gross and bloated all day, so that I don't feel like now I have to fast for X amount of time, right? I'm trying to figure my shit out. It's not going to be perfect, and there's nothing wrong with that. You need to apply the same thing to yourself. Every day isn't going to be perfect. Yeah, you're going to have some days where you push hard, but you're also going to have some days where the day is going to be what the day is going to be. But can you manage it the best way that you can? Can you still go for a walk? Can you still go to the gym? Can you still take care of yourself in ways that you know that you can outside of just fasting or eating the cleanest? That's all I'm saying. Um, Angela says, "Hey Jerome, did you mean you're not fasting for the rest of the holiday after you break?" Wait. So, did you mean you're not fasting for the rest of the holiday after you break? Uh, you mean so I'm I guess I'm confused. I'm most likely eating today, and I'm most likely eating tomorrow, and I'm having a 20% day on Thursday. Like I know on Thursday I'm going to be eating quite a bit because I'm probably going to go out. I always like to do that on the last day of my vacation when I get back from wherever. I like to eat something, and then I like to get myself back into a fast. But and then after that, I don't know what the plan is going to be. Maybe a 65, maybe back to ADF. I think it's just going to depend on how I'm feeling. So hopefully that clears things up. Maggie asks, what did your family think when you started your fasting journey? Were they supportive in the beginning? So the thing about my journey when I started is nobody knew about it because I was just I was in a really bad place, and like I wasn't around anyone. And so but when people did find out, there were a lot of questions. There were a lot of like, "Ooh, is that healthy? Should you be doing that?" Right? Kind of deal. Um, Supportive. I mean, most people didn't realize what I was doing until later. So many of them are supportive of it now. I mean, by many, I feel like no one questions me on what I do. Um, I think when people realize that my type 2 diabetes is gone, my high blood pressure is gone, that when I go to the doctor, that my blood work is perfect. I mean, my mom sees my mom's a nurse, right? So my mom sees my blood work and she's like, "Oh, good," right? No questions, like no issues. So they're very supportive of what I do. I think they also realize that like, and just like I'm showing all of you right now, yeah, you want to push a long fast, do it, but understand that probably not going to fast this long forever, all the time, all day, every day, right? Eventually, you have to get good at fasting for shorter. Eventually, you have to get good at eating cleaner, making more mindful choices. Eventually, you have to get good at taking care of your cardio health, taking care of your heart, right? Maintaining your muscle. You don't want to lose your muscle. You want to keep your metabolic rate high, right? Add some muscle in. Like all of these things are important. You want to take care of your sleep. So, Maggie May, I know I was going off tangent there, but hopefully that's helpful. Um, so, yeah, I think that's where I'm at. That's what's happening. Um, I think it's time for fit check, everyone. So let's do fit check, and I, I, I probably need to start wrapping this up because I know my family's eating lunch, and they're probably like, Jerome said he was only going to be an hour. This guy. So let's do fit check. If you're not aware of what fit check is, it's where I stand back here usually, and you get to see what I look like physically. I hope my family cannot see me through the windows because you're going to be seeing me standing up like, what is he doing? But before I get into it, right, I have been an overweight child, adolescent my entire life. Being overweight, being obese as a teenager, morbidly obese as a teenager, as an adult in my 20s, in my 30s, and even in my 40s is nothing new for me, right? I have been I have been morbidly obese literally my entire life except for the last 2 years or so. And I show those pictures because I remind people that I have lost all this weight and have kept it off, not through medication, not through injection, right? Not GLP-1, not Ozempic. I've never been on any of that. I've never had weight loss surgery. I'm not on any kind of performance enhancing drugs or anything like that. I'm not on TRT or, right, just anything like that. Like, you want to talk about natural, I'm completely natural. Um, I say that because I want people to understand that, yeah, I have been overweight, obese, morbidly obese my entire life. And I have found something that has gotten me to lose all that weight and keep it off. And this is a reminder that I didn't lose all this weight just because of fasting. I lost this weight because fasting has been an important tool, but because I have also continued to learn about myself and make better choices in my diet. I have learned to incorporate exercise. I have learned to understand that sleep is super important. I have learned to understand that I have to give myself grace, practice imperfect consistency, be accountable, and be honest, right? Stop avoiding, stop keeping things a secret, stop feeling ashamed, stop feeling guilty. A lot of these habits, it has been a journey, right? I have learned from this every single day. You are literally watching what imperfect consistency looks like, everyone. You are literally, I'm literally showing you that yesterday when I ate, it wasn't the best. I went over my calories. Am I beating myself up about it? No. Did I use the calories to my advantage this morning when I woke up? Yeah, I went for a walk. I lifted weights at the gym, right? Hell, I'm on vacation. I don't even know, I don't even need to go to the gym per se, right? Because I'm on quote unquote vacation. But it's so ingrained in me. I have time, so why not, right? All right, let's do fit check really quick. I'm gonna have to move this chair out of the way as you see me backing up. I know I'll probably need to move this further back. So we'll do fit check. This needs to be higher. So I am currently wearing, this is a size small, but this small is from Japan. So I don't know if you know this, but shirts in Japan actually fit me really, really well, especially smalls. Because if I wear an adult small in the US, the sleeves are usually much longer. These sleeves are like perfect. That's probably because people in Japan are shorter and I'm only 5'3", so this actually fits me perfect. But front shot, side, right? Rear, oops, rear. Oh, and that there's a B right there, and then side, and then that's fit check. I'm also being a lot more mindful because the windows are right there, and I feel like people can see me. I feel a little weird about that. I don't need everyone seeing me do fit check, and they're like, Jerome, what were you doing there? Um, so that's fit check. Uh, Usually I talk about my loose skin. You can see my loose skin. This is starting to, I've noticed as I start to lean out more, this usually gets a little, I'm very insecure about that. I've talked about that before. I do have loose skin on my upper arms, on my lower belly, but we can talk about that another day. 12:30. So you know what? Let's take a little time and let's do some Q&A. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask them now. There is a good number of people in here. I said this yesterday. If you're lurking, that's cool. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate the support. But if you really want help with something, I'm literally giving you whatever experience, advice I can, coaching that I can. So if you have a question, please feel free to ask now. I'll answer what I can to the best of my ability. While you are asking questions, if there are any questions, if you are looking for help when it comes to fasting, weight loss, or accountability, you can go to finallyfasting.com. We can book, or you can book a one-on-one session with me. We'll talk face to face like this. We can put a plan together. We can put a strategy together. I can help keep you accountable. I can help make sure that you are on track to your goals. Sometimes for many of us, we already know what good, healthy habits look like. The thing that you might be looking for is accountability in that way. So if that's something you might be interested in, finallyfasting.com. You can also check the site out. I do offer merch there if you want to buy a sticker and support me or buy a hat and support me. At the same time, if you go to the link in my description, right, of this live stream, there's a link where you can be part of the Finally Fasting fam, the Finally Fasting family. You can be a member to the Finally Fasting family. You'll get your name on the intros of these live streams. You will get custom emoji that you can use, but also today's Tuesday, tomorrow, Wednesday, we will be doing an accountability live stream. And that's a special live stream for people who are part of the Finally Fasting fam, where we all have a communal spreadsheet that we use together, right? And we hold each other accountable. We all have our different goals, but it's more of a group coaching session. It's not just me that's talking, other people are chiming in. Some people will get on camera, some people will just get on the chat and talk. So if that's something you might be interested in, which is another layer of accountability, check out the link in the live stream to be part of the Finally Fasting fam. So, okay. Eric asks, what time do you normally stop or start and stop eating? So this depends, right? So you just saw yesterday. Uh, yesterday, because I'm on vacation, I stopped eating after a 40-hour fast, and my refeed length was very long, over 10 hours. But normally, I usually start eating in the evening. I usually start eating somewhere around like 6 or 7 p.m., sometimes a little earlier, sometimes a little later. And I'll only eat once, usually on my refeeds. Vacations like right now are an exception, but usually they last around 4 hours. So I don't know if I have I'm going to look at my sheets really quick because I can give you an overall number because I've been keeping stats for that long. Um, well, when it decides to open. Okay. In the last 666 days, because today's day 667, so it's not over yet, but in the last 666 days, my fasting average is 49 hours and 24 minutes. So in the last 666 days, I have fasted for a little over 2 days at a time. My average refeed time currently is 5 hours and 46 minutes. And that's in combination with 90-hour fast, 120-hour fast, and in combination with 8-hour refeeds and even 2-hour refeeds, right? This is just an average over the last 666 days. But if you're just asking for time, usually I start eating around 6 p.m. and usually I end somewhere around 10 or 11. That's probably the best way to put it. Like usually a 4 or 5 hour gap, and I only eat once every time. And who knows what that's going to look like in the future, but that's currently what I do. And that looks like that's the only other question. I mean, I do it a little differently now, these live streams, especially the daily ones. When people ask questions, I'll just try to ask or I'll try to answer them on the spot. Um, so, with that being said, I'll just bring this up here since Eric put this here. Eric says, lost 30 pounds since I started following you, gained 15 back, but trying to get back. First of all, congratulations on losing the 30 pounds. And here's another thing, respect to you for getting back on it. It takes a lot to talk about putting the weight back on. And if you think about it, not just for Eric, but for other people here, when people put the weight back on, I do feel that people put weight back on because habits come back into play. Sometimes people also lose weight right away because they are doing something like an all or nothing type deal where they're pushing super, super, super hard, right? And so as I see Eric share this, right, I look at this and I'm like, this is perfect for Eric, right? Because as he's gained 15 pounds and is trying to get back into it, this is a learning opportunity, right? To now start showing accountability, to now start practicing imperfect consistency, to now start saying, this is what worked, this is how I can tweak it, this is how I can figure out what my next steps look like. Started at 250 down to 237 right now. Goal is to 200. Thanks for answering my question. Of course. No problem. Congratulations to you, Eric. Please keep us posted on your progress. So, okay, that's it for today. I might be eating lunch, I might not, but I know I will be eating later today because I am going out later today. Um, but you'll hear about it tomorrow. And if I'm going to eat, you're going to see what that looks like because I'm going to be transparent about that. Um, that's really all I have. Usually I would share a couple more things, but I know people are probably waiting, so I'm going to start closing up here. With that being said, I'm going to do my obligatory wave. Actually, before I give my wave, tomorrow, am I going to see you? You're going to show up tomorrow? You're going to be accountable? Another question for many of you as well who are here. How many people are here right now saying today's your day one? If it is, let this be your last day one. Let's stop starting over. Let's start practicing imperfect consistency. Let's start putting good, healthy habits into practice, right? If this is helpful for you, if this is motivational for you, if this is inspirational for you, if this helps you stay accountable, show up tomorrow. I say this all the time. You're not alone, right? You are not alone. I've been doing this shit for 667 days. I would love to see, actually, BMJ says here, right? Day 29. So this is what I'm hoping for. Hope maybe this is what we can start doing in the future too. Is maybe some of you can start checking in and letting me know how many days you're into your journey, right? Because if you can start letting go of starting over and just saying, "Hey, I'm on this. I'm learning. I'm figuring it out." Right? Maybe that's the turning point for some of us. But if any of this is important or helpful for you, show up tomorrow. Show some accountability. I don't know what time I'm going to be on tomorrow. Tomorrow might actually be more of a working day for me, so I don't know if I'm going to actually be going out much tomorrow. So we'll see. I'll figure it out. Um, okay, that's it. That's all I got. With that being said, thank you everyone for being here today. Thank you for being supportive. Thank you for being kind to each other. Um, Dan, I don't know if Dan's still here, but Dan, thank you for the $5 super chat. I appreciate the support. It means a lot to me. Thank you to my Finally Fasting fam. Thank you for being members and supporting me in that way. That's all I got. We're going to do this again tomorrow, right? So I'll see you then. Okay, there's my wave. Take care, guys. See you tomorrow.